Welcome to another episode of paranormal experiences sent in by our viewers. As always, none of these stories are hoaxes. They are genuine, unexplainable, and sometimes terrifying things that have actually happened to our viewers. We don't always have the answers to what's going on, but we hope you do, and we'd like to hear your respectful thoughts in the comments. Thank you to those for sending in your experiences and encounters.
Have you ever sat down, looked out the window and wondered what it must be like to go back in time, to explore history from a first-person perspective, and learn what it was like to engage with the cultures and ways of life from decades, if not centuries in the past? It would probably be such a fulfilling experience, escaping the troubles of today and worries of tomorrow, to jump into yesterday, empathizing with our ancient ancestors and joining them on adventures. Luckily, today's technology provides us these opportunities through mediums such as video games and interactive media, giving us the autonomy to discover the undiscovered and simulate another age of history. You may ask where we would find such possibilities. Well, look no further than the proud sponsor of today's video, Family Island. Family Island is one of the hottest sim and farming mobile games on the market, taking ordinary people from all over the world, just like you all, on a journey into the Stone Age, to learn how to live off the land like cave people used to. Family Island is perfect for those who simply want to play a game and relax, while still enjoying the twists and turns of an action-packed narrative. It allows you to appreciate wildlife without ever having to leave your comfy couch or cozy bed, transporting you to a private island you've always dreamed of making your own. On this island, you must help a stranded family create an entire city while maintaining your personal farm. It tests your creativity as a farmer as you collect natural resources to build rooms and furniture, using rubies to acquire materials, so you can customize the island with your own decorations. We love it because the game is the perfect combination of creativity, relaxation, and escaping from everyday life. So no more waiting for the chance to discover lost worlds and travel through time. Play solo or join the thousands of players already mastering their Stone Age farm, and download Family Island on your mobile device today to begin your quest to be number one on the leaderboards. It's time to journey throughout history and forward to the beginnings of your empire.
Cockpit Imposter. This first photograph was sent in by Josh and was taken in 2021 at the Lost Village Festival. The festival is held in a secluded woodland area near Norton Disney in Lincolnshire, UK, and the site is fashioned into an abandoned world with dilapidated buildings, hidden gardens, and a disused airbase. So it's a bit different to your normal music festival. In the disused airbase area located at the back of the stage, there was a cut-off front of an old passenger plane, designed so that visitors could climb into the cockpit and watch the music from there. Josh and his friends made their way to the area, and two of the friends, Joe and Amy, were the first to climb into the cockpit of the plane and asked for a photo to be taken on Amy's camera. Josh and another friend held up Amy's phone camera and her disposable camera and took photos almost simultaneously. This was the phone photograph. Nothing particularly strange about that, but here is the disposable camera shot. They have no idea who that transparent looking figure is in the second photo. He appears to be much taller than Amy and Joe and is wearing clothing that didn't quite fit with the festival vibe. Josh and several other friends were standing directly behind the friend who took the photo with the disposable camera, and they didn't see any other person standing to the right of them or in the plane for that matter. The skeptic in Josh initially thought it was a development error. However, when he checked the original negatives, they mirrored the print. He also checked all the other photos for something it might have got mixed in with, and didn't find any other photos that it could have been contaminated with. As Josh says, it's a very unlikely place to catch something paranormal, but what other explanation is there for the unknown figure captured in the photo? We'd love to hear your thoughts. Guiss. Guiss is from a small town in the north of the Netherlands. Growing up there, Guiss was no stranger to paranormal activity. Both he and his mum are extremely sensitive to any sort of presence or weird vibe, although Guiss never felt threatened by any of them. However, all that changed when he moved to Amsterdam for his studies a little under a year ago. Guiss moved into a large apartment complex just outside the city. It was huge and consisted of around 12 towers that were all connected by a main hallway on the ground floor. His room was located in Tower 4 on the 3rd floor, in a relatively dark, rather depressing apartment. Guiss never intended to live there long, but felt lucky to have a room to begin with. Although unlike the rest of the complex, Tower 4 had always had a horrible vibe to Guiss. On one of his first nights in the apartment, Guiss was FaceTiming with a friend, who we'll call X, when suddenly he heard a loud thud from his closet. The noise momentarily creeped out Guiss before he quickly rationalized it was someone going to the bathroom, which was the wall behind the closet. However, after a second thud, Guiss was properly freaked out, and unlike the things he'd experienced back home, he felt threatened. All the while, X is still on the phone laughing at how scared he is. Guiss decides to put his mind at rest and check the bathroom, but after checking it, he found his flatmates were both in their rooms. Guiss returns to his room, and almost immediately after he sits back down, he hears another thud coming from the closet. This one was loud enough for X to hear through her phone. At this point, Guiss wants to run for it, but X convinces him to check inside the closet to see if anything has fallen over. Guiss reluctantly moves towards the closet, and as he opens the door, he feels a weird wind or force, or something come out and pass through him. As it passes through his body, Guiss is filled with a terror that he's never felt before. He was left shaking, with his heart racing and goosebumps all over his body, and is in complete and utter shock. X, who has witnessed what has happened, becomes concerned and asks Guiss if he's okay. She also says she heard a weird voice in a foreign language through the phone, and at the point Guiss opened the closet, the video stopped and pixelated, and she heard the voice. Guiss sits down to compose himself, and as he does, the closet door opens on its own and then slams shut again. This repeats itself several times. X suggested burning some sage to try and clear the negative energy, which seems to work, and the evil vibe appears to leave the room. However, over the next few months, Guiss forgets about the incident and concentrates on his studies. Until one day, when he's chilling with a neighbour, and she tells him about some weird episodes of sleep paralysis she's been having back in September, which is around the same time as the closet activity. The neighbour believed that she had brought back some type of demon after she visited her family in Morocco. She said the entity spoke to her in a foreign language that she thought was Hebrew. The way she described the negative vibe of pure evil was as if she was describing what had happened to Guiss, and he was convinced it was the same entity. Time passed without incident, and Guiss eventually moved to a new place, and he happened to tell his new roommates about the experience he and his neighbour had had at the apartments. Sometime later, his roommate came home from work and said she had mentioned to a colleague about Guiss's experience in the complex. And it turns out the colleague used to live in the same apartment complex, in Tower 4 on the 4th floor, with her mum, and one day she was standing at the top of the stairs on the 4th floor when she felt someone give her a firm push against her lower back. She fell down the stairs, but luckily did not injure herself. She later told her mum about it, who told her she must have just tripped or something. But the pushing by an unseen force continued to happen until one day she was pushed down the stairs and broke her ankle. Not long after this, they moved out to the apartment. The colleague believes the Greek witch was responsible for the paranormal activity in the complex, and apparently she used to live in Tower 4. Creepy Padre Hotel, California. This creepy footage was sent to us by Damien, a new paranormal investigator from California, who has just set up a YouTube channel called Paranormal Popcorn. Their first upload was an overnight stay at the haunted Padre Hotel in Bakersfield, California. The hotel was originally built in 1928 and is known to have a tragic background. In 1950, a deadly fire on the 7th floor killed a family with children. And a couple of years later, in 1952, the Kern County earthquake caused damage to the hotel, killing guests trapped in the basement. There are also at least 2 documented suicides, one of a woman who jumped off the roof and the other of a man who shot himself in the bath. In 1954, Milton Miller purchased the hotel, and he was supposed to upgrade the hotel, adding a fire prevention system, but instead he spent 45 years fighting with authorities over various issues, and after his death in 1999, it is said he haunts the hotel, still bearing a grudge against anyone who tries to change things in the building. In 2008, the hotel was completely renovated, and although most of the historical features were torn out, just a few still remain. Along with the many ghostly spirits from the past, some of whom are friendlier than others. The spirit of Milton Miller is said to be dominant, and is one of the less friendly spirits. Although a lot of the ghosts at the hotels are said to be of children who tragically had their lives cut short there, and sounds of them playing in the corridors are frequent occurrences, along with dark shadows seen floating down the hallways. Today, the luxury hotel is a magnet for paranormal investigators, and Damon and his team focused on the reputedly most haunted room, room 704 on the 7th floor. In this room, a female guest was allegedly followed around the room by a rustling sound, and when she went to bed, she looked up and saw a sinister-looking face peering down at her from the roof that bore into her soul with pitch-black eyes. This is what happened when the team explored this room.
The REM pod is going off. It's going off like crazy. Dude, the music box is going off.
At this moment, we captured something very sinister. Right after I said the music box is going off, we believe it sounds like an angry demonic hissing. You can hear the tone of it hissing being louder than my voice. This is very compelling. Could this be a dark entity that isn't happy we are there?
There you go.
Oh wow.
Can you make it go up all the way? Good job.
Keep trying, we're doing good. The K2 wasn't going off all. I did a full sweep in this room.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Me too.
I did a full sweep. It was not going
Oh
off.
my gosh.
Yeah.
It's just that someone picked up from over here.
Yeah.
Oh my
There's a
gosh.
lot going on in here right now.
Now, if that wasn't creepy enough, next they moved on to room 811, and this is what happened.
Thank you. Do you know who I am? Yeah? Do you know I can feel you? Great. Are you the female or the female? Can you make it go off a little bit more?
Oh god.
Great, thank you. Can you make it? Okay, thank you.
Pretty unnerving. Could the team really have caught some of the spirits of the many ghosts that haunt the hotel? What do you think? What did the dog see? This next story was sent in by Michael, a retired sea captain who by his own admission is not prone to emotional conclusions. However, what happened to him over 15 years ago he has found hard to explain. In 2006, Michael lived in a house in Bethel, Connecticut, USA. Before he and his family moved in, the house had been empty for about 4 years. The previous owner had passed away in an upstairs bedroom of natural causes. Shortly after moving in, Michael, his wife, and 2 teenage sons started noticing items going missing, only to be found again in plain sight or moved to a different area. At first, they put it down to absent-mindedness. Then one night, Michael was home alone in the early evening, watching TV with his 3 dogs who were asleep, under blankets on the couch, when all at once, all 3 dogs woke up, jumped down and ran down the hall, tails wagging into the front door. Michael assumed his wife or sons were home and followed the dogs to unlock the door. In the hall, just before the front door, there were stairs to the 2nd floor. There were 2 steps up, a small landing, and then a 90-degree right turn to the rest of the stairs. To Michael's surprise, the dogs had not headed to the front door. Instead, all 3 dogs had climbed the 2 stairs to the landing, turned and sat looking up the stairs to the 2nd floor, which was in darkness. They never barked, yelped, nothing. They just sat in a line, wagging their tails. Michael was a bit unnerved by this reaction, but never really felt threatened or scared. He flipped on the lights up the staircase to see if there was anything there, but there was nothing. The dogs sat there for a good 3 to 4 minutes, then got down, came back up the hall into the living room, and back onto the couch like nothing had happened. Michael has spent all his adult life at sea and seen some pretty strange stuff out in the ocean, but nothing like he experienced that night, and to this day he is still puzzled by what all 3 dogs could clearly see and sense, but he couldn't. If any of you have ever experienced anything similar, we would love to know in the comments. Unexplained Voices. Now this is a strange one. It was sent to us by Chris. Chris has a retro gaming repairs and mods channel on YouTube, where he shows viewers various retro gaming repairs and modifications from his personal collection. He basically buys broken gaming equipment and modifies it or repairs it on camera. During the filming of one of his videos, something happened that he thinks may be responsible for a series of detrimental things that happened to him soon after. Put your headphones on for this one, and let us and Chris know what you hear.
And the D0 obviously is faulty. That means we've now got no spare D0s. So yeah, I think, if I was gonna guess as to what was wrong with this, we may have a missing trace somewhere, but I don't think so. We would have to remove all the stuff around the Z80 in order to get the Z80 stuff working. Fix a load of traces around there that connects to C1. It's the C1.
Did you hear that? Pretty creepy. We hear either hello Chris or help me Chris. Chris thinks he heard Hal is deep Chris, which is terrifying. Now Chris is a clever guy, especially with the electronics, but he has no explanation for that phantom voice. He has never heard anything like that happen before, and he has recorded tens of thousands of hours of footage on that camera for his channel. But that wasn't the worst of it. On the same day as Chris heard the voice, that evening he tripped on a step in his home, something he'd never done in 20 years living in the house, and went headfirst into a wall. Chris was concussed and was unwell for the next 24 hours. After the fall, Chris's health turned very bad, and he lost his job after 20 years, and he can't help thinking the voice had something to do with it. It really disturbed him, as it can't be explained. No one else was in the house, the cats were in another room, and it sounds very clearly like a female voice. But there's more to this story. After Chris heard the voice, which was about a month after it happened when he was editing the filming he had done that day, he recalled that the day before he was testing the same arcade board that is in the clip, but on this occasion he was testing it without the game cartridge, and he was horrified when he turned it on and it said die, looping the word until he powered it off. It's worth noting that without the game cartridge, there is no way the board could make any sound apart from random noise. The final part of this story comes from the Neo Geo board he was working. Under the ROM socket, he noticed this. Could all this be some bizarre coincidence? Chris doesn't think so, as his life has changed beyond recognition since, and he has no other explanation for it. We're wondering if you do. So that's it for this video. Thank you to all 5 of the subscribers who sent in their experiences and encounters. Remember, if you have an experience or encounter you'd like us to analyse and share, please send it in to mystory@top5s.co.uk.
Don't forget to check out this video's sponsor, Family Island, following the link in the description or the comment section below. Thanks for watching, and as always, we'll see you in the next video.